You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will live as one. Imagine all the people living for today. You may say I'm a dreamer. Oh, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you will join us, and the world will live as one. Imagine all the people sharing all the world. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you will join us, oh, and the world will live as one.
Good morning. Welcome to the light and the love that is Unity of Lawrence. I invite you all to remember that a church is not a building. A church is people. And I want to invite all of us to reach out in their souls to all the people online who are joining us. Welcome to our service this morning. I'd like to invite our prayer chaplain forward. Karen is here to hold sacred space, sacred virtual space with everyone who's joining us.
Good morning. Let's take a breath in and release. And as we close our outer eyes, we open the inner eye, and we know that our connection with the divine presence is always there, and that our connection with one another is always there, and that this love can be felt miles away, and we can just relax in that and realize I am loved and I am love. The core of my being, that which makes up the universe, is truly the essence of love. We give thanks for those who are here today, brave souls coming together, and we give thanks to all who are joining us online and staying safe. And we know deeply that this too will pass, but our connection can never be broken. And for this, we can just be thankful. And we give thanks and we say, thank you, God. Amen. So it is.
Thank you, Karen. Now I invite you to please sing with Kelly Hunt as we sing our opening song.
Yeah, everybody join in. If you're at home, come on and sing with us. Here we go. Where I sit is holy, holy is the ground. Forest, mountain, river, listen to the sound. Great Spirit circles all around me. Who I am is holy, holy are we. Body, thought, emotion connecting you and me. Great Spirit circles all around me. What I do is holy, holy is my way. Work and play together, celebrate the day. Great Spirit circles all around me. Who we are is holy, holy are we. Body, thought, emotion connecting you and me. Great Spirit circles all around me. What we do is holy, holy is our way. Work and play together, celebrate the day. Great Spirit circles all around me. Great Spirit circles all around me. Great Spirit circles all around me.
Hi. Hello to all you people out there. Woohoo! Unity of Lawrence. I am Diane Silver. I am the president of the board, and I just wanted to bring you up to date as to what we are doing in this very, very interesting time we are living in. Your board and staff, some of whom are sitting in the audience today, are going to be meeting right after this service to figure out exactly what we're doing in our way forward. And I know I have some ideas, some things that I want us to do, and one of them is to create an online discussion group, perhaps be it Zoom or something else that works well, where people can get together in virtual space, share experiences, and learn how to apply our unity principles to this very interesting period of our lives. And I want you to know that my personal commitment, and I know the board's personal commitment, and the staff's commitment to all of you out there in virtual land, to all of us who make up the unity community, is to band together in spiritual solidarity, to increase our ability to deal with everything, and to heal this beautiful world. So thank you for listening, and thank you for being here.
And now I invite you to take a breath, settle in to your space, and affirm with me unity's founding principle together. There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, God, the source of all good. And now our Unity of Lawrence vision together. United in divine love and joy, we celebrate a peaceful and abundant world for all. And our mission as a community together. We are a thriving spiritual community, sharing love, building bridges, and inspiring transformation. And now let's welcome Kelly again, providing our special music.
We all have dreams that seem out of reach. We all have hard winters beyond the breach, but I'm here to tell you that deep in the ground there are roots finding blossoms to be found, and you're one day closer to spring. One day closer to spring. You're one day closer to spring. One day closer. It's time to hold up and listen hard to what the sky says among the stars. The wheel is turning us back outside, where the wind will sing our hearts open wide. And we are one day closer to spring. One day closer to spring. We're one day closer to spring. We are one day closer. When you feel like giving up, when there's nothing in your cup, when you feel broken past repair, when you're held in doubt and fear, when you've been cold too long, when you're sure your dream is wrong, there is growth from what seems dead. When you sense there's love ahead, then a new world is coming. It's made of light, and a new bird singing in the dead of night, and there's music coming on bud and branch. Remember, life's giving you a second chance, and we are one day closer to spring. We are one day closer to spring. We are one day closer to spring. We are one day closer. And the ground begins to thaw.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning to everybody online. Welcome to Unity of Lawrence. Kelly Hunt's voice makes me cry sometimes. So, and that's because Kelly Hunt is always coming from a vibration of love. If you ever see anything she posts online or ever listen to her songs, Kelly's always got a vibration of love and a commitment to love. So I hope that you'll check her out. She's also got some virtual concerts coming up. Kelly and I are both people who make our living from being in front of people. So the fact that we're going to have some virtual concerts coming up, and I'm going to be doing some virtual talks and some coaching sessions, things like that, it's just what we have to do right now. So I first want to acknowledge and appreciate all of you who are here, and for whatever it took for you to be here, whether it's virtual or whether it's live. There's very few people, for those of you who are watching online, there's very few people here, but the board is here and a few people who wanted to be with people, and we're doing our social distancing by sitting kind of apart. So when I found out today was going to be a virtual talk, it didn't really faze me much because I can talk anytime. But then when I found out Kelly was going to be with me, I'm like, we got this nailed. We're good. We can handle this. So I'm going to do my best to weave in. I've got 3 different kind of topics that I want to weave in together, and hopefully in the end, I'll tie it up in a big bow. To start out with, if you don't know me very well, again, my name is Jay Pryor, and I'm an executive coach, and I'm a trainer, and I'm a keynote speaker. And I'm also a transgender person, and I'm someone who does a lot of transgender activism. And I've been out as a queer person since I was 18 years old, and out as a transgender person since like 99, 2000, something like that. So if those of you don't know the story or you're confused, I was born female, lived for 35 years in what I call woman skin, and then made a transition to where I show up like this, and I call it the undercover white guy skin, where I look completely male, but I still identify myself as female, so confusing for everyone. Recently, just this past week, the census came through the mail for me and my family. And as I opened the census, those of you who haven't gotten it yet, you'll be getting it. We're doing the new census this year. You open the census, and it tells you why it's important that you do the census. It says things like federal dollars are based on some of this information, right? And so I say, okay, and I get with my wife, and we sit together to do our census. And when it comes to the part where the information is about me, you have certain boxes that you have to check, and the only two boxes that I had the option to check were male and female. And it's a computer program, so I can't write in transgender. I can't put other. I have to check a box. I'm forced to check a box in order to be counted. And I noticed that there's no other option. There's only male and female. And I know that about 5 or 6 years ago, when we had a different president, that wasn't the case. That transgender people were being counted, and that president actually stood up and acknowledged transgender people as a people, and as people who were worthy of funds and worthy of being on the planet. So I know that there's been a shift, right? When I do a federal census, and now I don't necessarily exist. And so, boy, did that set me off a little bit, right? And already we've got so much going on that can put us in those worlds of, from where I sit, putting me into a place of being resigned and cynical, right? Resignation and cynicism are easy for me to go to, especially when I have evidence. I mean, there's evidence, physical evidence right in front of me that I'm not even being counted in my own nation. And so therefore, funds for transgender care, for transgender research, for any of that, well, we don't exist, so of course we don't need those funds, right? And so it's easy for me to go into resignation and cynicism. And then I did the silly thing, and I got on Facebook and was engaging with people about the election for a couple of days, right around the same time. It didn't take me very long, right? It only takes me a couple of days to dive into that before I start dreaming and not being able to sleep well. And I mean, I just have a pretty big impact on me if I choose to dive into that world, okay? So I want to be clear to say that when I choose to dive into that world, because for me, it is very much a choice about how much news I read, what kind of news I read, who I engage with in public, and what I choose to focus on. And in this particular instance, it was last week or so, early in the week, or maybe a couple weeks ago, where I just was really, really resigned and feeling very cynical. And like, what I do does not matter, and who cares anyway, right? Easy for me to get there. I don't go to fear. I go to being angry. I go to get resignation, and I go to completely like cynical. What does it matter, right? And again, that's my choice. So I want to put a pin in that. A couple of weeks ago, I was here. Before then, I was here, and we were talking about Lent. And I shared with you all that I was born and raised cradle Catholic to the degree that the ritual and religion of Catholicism for me was really rooted in me, right? And I loved it. I was a very religious kid. When I discovered that I was gay, the first thing I did is double down on Jesus and try to pray the gay away. Didn't help, but I did. I was like, oh no, I can't be gay. We got to double down on Jesus. It was like day by day, oh dear Lord, don't let me be gay. Right? It was like, woo, no, I cannot do that. No. So I've been that part of me that was religious and really enjoyed part of being a person of faith has always been in there. And so if you don't know me very well, I still love the ritual, and I still love having a faith community to come to. And there's a group that meets before this at 9 a.m. that I'm participating in. It's my spiritual group, and I'm fed by that group, and I'm fed by this community. And there's a part of me that really, really loves all the ritual that goes with it and all the pieces and parts that have me show up as someone who you might even call religious if you want to. I call it spiritual. But we're talking about Lent, and I was asking you all, when we're talking about Lent, to you yourselves double down on your spirituality and maybe give up something, right? And consider that part of Lent and giving up something is just having us be mindful, right? And it's all about mindfulness and becoming conscious of the things that might be in our way of having access to our spiritual life, to our spiritual selves, to your God, your life force, your spirit, whatever you want to call that. So I myself, if you don't know this about me, the other thing to note is I have one of the foulest mouths that ever lived. One of the first pictures of me that I remember is sitting on a big wheel at 3 years old going like this, right? So I was trained early on. I'm the youngest of 9 siblings, and I think they thought it was pretty funny to have me cuss a blue streak by the time I was about 2 or 3. And it has been in me forever, right? So I have a foul mouth. And even right out of high school, I went straight into the Army. If you don't know that about me, I was an Army reservist for a while. And even in the Army, I got in trouble for cussing, right? Even in the Army, I got dropped and had to do push-ups all the time because of my foul mouth, right? And I literally had drill sergeants saying things to me like, where did you come from? How do you have such a foul mouth, right? So it's been something that's been a part of me forever. And I've just always been like, whatever, that's who I am, right? Even up until recently, right? And now I have kids who are almost 10, both of them, and they can cuss a blue streak, let me tell you, because of me, and I know it's all on me. And so when I was in the inquiry around what to give up for Lent, I initially was going to give up a couple things, and then, that didn't feel like that was much of a spiritual stretch. And then recently, I had something come up where I felt some shame about my mouth. Like, I hit a shame spiral, or about my cussing and my mouth and things like that. And I don't know about you, but for me as a human being, often I won't move until I'm shoved, right? And sometimes that shove is a shame spiral. Sometimes that shove is just the stark reality that I am not showing up how I want to show up. And for me, that's always involves a little bit of pain, generally. I don't ever be like, gosh, I feel so happy, I'm just going to go rearrange my molecules because I'm so happy and great at this, right? No, I'm usually like, oh, God, I hate this. Or something embarrasses me, or I feel shame about it, or for some reason I have to get to a place where it's kind of uncomfortable for me. And so recently I got to a pretty uncomfortable place with my own mouth. And I wanted to give up cussing, but for me, I've tried this many times. This is not something I haven't thought about before. But there was always something in the way, and perhaps it was my own willingness to take the necessary actions. So for me, when I want to give something up, and if something's in my way of being my most fully self-expressed self as love, which is what I want to commit myself to, if something's in that way, then I have to first get willing. The very first step is I have to get willing. And willingness for me is always the key to action. All right? First it's willing to do it, and then I have to accept how it is now. Right? And that's always that sometimes gets in my way. Yes, I'm willing to change this, but then I have to really look at, how it is now. Right? And I don't want to. So often I'll go, willingness? No, maybe not so willing. Because accepting myself right where I am, for me, is painful sometimes. And especially when I combine that acceptance with what I have to then accept from myself is a willingness to love myself through it. Because, see, I can beat the hell out of myself through something any day, right? I can be a perfectionist and be like, you get the shit together, see, mouth. But loving myself through something actually has me access vulnerability at a level that sometimes for me is a little too much. See, I learned early on how to keep people right here. I learned early on how to be tough, right? How to fight my way through. I learned really early on that you can't hurt me as long as I keep you right here. But when I keep you right here, I miss out on you, and guess what? You miss out on me. And it has taken me years, because you have to know that I came from a place of thought where I believed that I was worthless, where I believed that the world would just be better off without me. But I know better now because I've had touches of access to what's possible when I show up as love, and the impact that I have on others when I am willing to show up as love. And so I decided that I could do this, and I know that willingness is the first step, and that mindfulness is the activity. So being mindful, if you study emotional intelligence, being mindful is one of the hugest steps in emotional intelligence. And Daniel Goleman, who wrote the book Emotional Intelligence back in 1995, actually says that emotional intelligence is the guide between awareness and self-regulation, self-awareness and self-regulation. In other words, we can't regulate ourselves as humans if we're not aware of what needs to be regulated. If I'm not conscious of my own foul mouth, I don't have any ability to regulate it. So the first step I took was to be mindful. Now, when I started to be mindful, I had to ask for help because, again, this has been a conversation I've been in for a while and it's not made a difference. So I asked for help for what I call the oneness of, all of us together, which for me that is God, spirit, life, love, whatever you want to call it. So I asked, I need some help. The first thing I started noticing is that anytime I'm startled or someone cuts me off in traffic, like any time at all, the very first word out of my mouth is either an F-bomb or a GD, right? And I mean, it is instantaneous. It's like somebody cuts me off in traffic, first word, right? That's what comes out of my mouth. So I'm like, okay. I really got mindful of this and started practicing taking a breath in between. Now, I'm still working on this, and I'm going to keep working on this because I get that I can change this, and I also get how, for me, giving up cussing would shift my energy. That's just me, personally, something I want to take on. So, when I get this, I know for myself that as a truth student, and those of us in Unity who are truth students, we practice oneness all the time, right? That's our goal anyway. I'm not saying we're a bunch of masters at it, but I'm saying that on Sunday, we come together, and when we speak and when we teach here at Unity, we teach oneness. We have a tree that says one. Right? We teach oneness. And yet, in the world, it is always easy to feel separate, right? And again, as I mentioned, when I want to take something on that makes me bigger and makes me more accessible to humans, usually I have to go through some pain first, right? There's usually some, right? So here I'm wondering, now, in our world with the coronavirus, we are being forced, literally forced, to acknowledge our oneness. For all of you who would like to think that you're separate, just pay attention, because you cannot be a conscious human being on this planet right now and tell me that we're not all one, when every single one of us on the planet is all dealing with this one virus that started in one place and now has been to almost every country, right? Notice I don't watch the news, so I can't say every country because it might not be accurate. I don't pay attention. So we're pretty close to every country in the world, and it started one place. You cannot tell me that, if there is not a better example of oneness, what is there? And so I want to go back to my transness and my trans story. When I saw that census, I'm like, see, these people, they don't want to count me. And right away, what there was for me to do was to other anybody who's ever voted for that person and make them other, and they're other. And guess what? That does not help anything or get anything done or move me any closer to being love. Because what I know is when I show up as love, I'm not like this. I'm like this. And I'm not othering you. And I'm not concerned about how you vote. And I'm not concerned about what you ate for lunch. I'm just knowing that I am connected to you. And that what I do has an impact on you. And right now, my family and I are, other than me being right here, are staying home. We're going to be staying home for at least until kids go back to school, which is the rest of the month. And some of you out there who are watching might think we are just silly. We're just buying into all this hoaxy business about a coronavirus. And maybe we are. But I've done enough research and seen enough to see what happens when just 1 out of 8 of us chooses to keep ourselves away from other people. I can see the statistics and see those lines, and there's either a giant curve or there's a flatter curve. And in places where people will social distance and do more of it, there's a flatter curve. So I and my family are going to do this, and you can call us crazy, but for us, that is our commitment to love you. And that is our commitment and our acknowledgement that I am one of you and that you are a part of me. For many, many years, I've studied and thought of oneness. I love the phrase at-one-ment, atonement, at-one-ment. I have this tattoo on my arm, right here, that has been there since 2007, and that's for myself when I started practicing oneness. This tattoo is 3 different people all tangled up in a knot together. You can't find one ends without the other. And it's for me the first time that I started to acknowledge and practice, and just all I had to do was look at my arm and remember that I am one with you and that what I do actually has an impact on you. And it may not be you in this room and it may not be you watching, but it has an impact on the us. And I like to think of God as all of us together, like cells of a body. I am a cell, and all of you are cells in this giant body. And that giant body for me is God. And I get that mostly from my studies here, and in this advertisement we quoted Eric Butterworth. Eric Butterworth is my favorite New Thought author. And Eric Butterworth reminds us that all that I am is God, God is all that I am, but I am not all that God is. God is like an ocean, and I'm the wave. And I love that, but boy, are we ever in a time where all I have to do is get on Facebook for 5 minutes, and I can be othering you in like that fast. So it takes a level of mindfulness for us to, on a regular basis, be consistent in our practice to show up as love, to be consistent in our practice. And how could we have a better time to do this than at Lent? Here we are being forced to acknowledge our oneness during Lent, during the time when we are waiting for us to show up. We're waiting for the light to show up. We are that light, and we're waiting for that. And, Lent has always got that little bit of darkness to it, that tomb time, that time when we're like, oh, we're in the dark and now we're waiting and the lights get lighter every day and the days start getting longer. And as Kelly just spoke, spring is coming. So how do we find hope during this time? It's really not that hard to look around. I have a vision board, and in the middle of my vision board is Gandhi, and right next to Gandhi is Mr. Rogers. Gandhi said, be the change that you want to see in the world. And Mr. Rogers said, no matter what happens, there's always helpers. Look for the helpers. Be a helper. Now more than ever, we have an opportunity to be the change we want to see in the world. Now more than any other time, we have an opportunity to show up and be the helpers. Put down the judgment. Put down the othering. It is not the time. Now is the time for us to step up and be the one. When today I found out that when I thought about this talk coming up, and one of the first thoughts I had was, why me? And then I thought, because I'm the one. And consistently in my life, I've been asked to step up and be the one And I'm happy to say that I do. I show up, and sometimes I show up and then I think, God, that sucked. But I showed up, right? I always show up. And what I'm asking you to do, all of you, virtually or live, is to find a way that you can show up as life-breathing during these times. Not breath on people. Don't breathe on other people. Don't do that right now. But being a life breather in life. I had a coach many years ago say to me, Jay, you can be a life breather or a life sucker. Choose. And I chose right then and there that I wanted to be a life breather. And believe me, I catch myself sucking the life out of people sometimes. And it's painful, and that's when I'm ready to transform it. And it takes mindfulness, it takes willingness, and the most important willingness it takes is to allow myself to let in the love. Because, boy, it's easy to just be resigned and cynical and snarky and have all that out there. But sometimes, I was talking to a client about this the other day, and we actually spoke these words. Sometimes being loved is one of the most painful things I've ever experienced. Because being loved means I'm willing to be vulnerable. And I'm willing to be wrong. And I'm willing to get hurt. And all those things are sometimes terrifying. And what I know is that when any of us are willing to open up, be vulnerable, be the love, be the life-breathing person that you were born to be and access that is within you, it transcends all the negativity and puts out a vibration of love that resonates like Kelly's music does. You can now take the opportunity to be the change. You can now take the opportunity to be a helper. And the best place you can start with that is, first of all, mindfulness and getting into the stillness. For those of you that don't have a practice of meditation, that don't have a practice of getting still, I want to invite you to start today. I want you to invite you to every single day, take a moment. If it's only a moment, one will do. I'd love you to take 20 moments, but if you can take one, I'll take it, where you are willing to get still enough to access your oneness and see who and what you are bringing to that. Who and what are you willing to be response-able for? I myself am willing to be response-able to whatever comes my way. And I don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what's going to happen. We are in uncharted territory here, people. But I am a trailblazer, and I've lived my life uncharted. And I can tell you that 9 times out of 10, the rewards of being a life breather and being out there willing to be the change always outweigh the negative stuff. I've been out in the world for years, and I've had people turn their backs on me, not talk to me, punch me in the face, throw things at me, scream at me. Those people are in the minority, though. Far more people want to love me, want to know me, want to talk to me, want to support me, want to accept me right where I am. So I choose to stay focused on the life breathers, the helpers, the ones who are willing to be the change. And I cannot access that change for myself if I cannot be still. In 1934, Emmett Fox, who was one of my other favorite New Thought authors, wrote a pamphlet on the psalm, "Be still and know that I am God." And in 1934, he said, those of us who want to be successful and contribute to our world will have to learn to manage our minds. If you just go to a neuroscience perspective or an emotional intelligence perspective, we know that people who have 3-to-1 positive to negative thoughts are the most successful people in the world, period. If you have an area of your life that you're not being successful, I guarantee you do not have 3-to-1 positive to negative thoughts in that area. It's math, and it's really simple, but it sometimes is not easy, because what's easy to do, what is this? And because of social distancing and all the things that we're being told, it could be easy to isolate that way. But isn't it amazing that that didn't happen until we're so connected online that we have access to anything and everything we want practically online, even interaction with other people. We can sit on a Zoom call, I do, with clients and have very intimate conversations and make a huge shift in them just on a Zoom call. I can do that. I've done it. And so can you. Reach out to people through Zoom. Reach out to people through Facebook Live. But please, in your interactions, consider that what you do and everything you say actually has an impact, because we are one. And if you can get still every day and experience that oneness, I promise you, you can be a life breather through this. And at the end of this, when it's all over, because like Karen said, this too shall pass, you'll be able to look back on this and think, I was really somebody who stepped up as a life breather during this time. I am somebody who was willing to be the change when everything seemed chaotic and no one knew what else to do. We know what to do here. We get still. We access the oneness that is within us, the piece of us that is connected to everything else, and then we move from there. There is a power within you that is greater than any circumstance before you. There's a power within you that is greater than any circumstance before you. I know this because when I access this power within me, I have no interest in othering you. I only have interest in loving you. Thank you for this time, for being with me. Kelly's going to come up and do a song for us that's going to take us right into meditation. So if you'd like to go ahead and prepare yourself for meditation, get yourself in a place that feels good to you. Some of you like to sit up, some of you like to lay down. Whatever it is for you that you like to do, to get yourself an opportunity to be still, Kelly's going to lead us right into that.
There is peace, there is quiet when we touch the stillness, and there is light, and there is healing when we touch the stillness. May you rest, may it flow, breathing in, letting go in the stillness. And there is love. There is knowing when we touch the stillness. There is peace. There is quiet when we touch the stillness.
You take this time to close your outer eyes. Get yourself in that comfortable place. I'd like you to start by imagining maybe roots coming from your body down through whatever building you're in, your home. Imagine those roots as they move down through your floor, through this building, picking up vines and leaves and dirt as they move down to the center of the earth, to the heart of the mother, the core of the earth. I want you to get yourself really wrapped around that core. Imagine yourself just wrapping all yourself around it like a big tree hug. Feel that good earth, solid, grounded energy. And then let yourself feel that energy coming back up through the rock and sediment and water. That good earth energy coming back up and back into your body, grounding you in this place, right here, right where you are. You're not out there with a worry. You're right here, grounded with us in this moment. Feel that good earth energy coming up into your body, maybe through your toes, up your ankles, up to your calves and your knees. Feel that good earth energy coming up your thighs and into your pelvis, right at your root chakra. And now you're rooted, grounded. Feel that good earth energy all around you now, rooting you, almost like a plant. Like a plant with no worries about sprouting your buds this time of year. No fear that somehow the cycles won't continue to flow. Just be right here. Then I want you to feel go up to your crown chakra, like you're opening the top of your head, and feel the light. Feels like sunshine after you've stepped out of the shade. Feel that sun rays coming down into the top of your crown, flowing down over your face, past your third eye, down over your ears, your mouth, down past your throat chakra, coming down. As it hits your heart chakra, feel that burst. Heart open, like throwing open the shutters on a warm spring day. Opening the windows. See if you can allow your heart to open. And keep that heart open. Now you're grounded, your heart open. And now is the time to connect up. You first feel how vast this universe is. Note what a tiny little speck you are. That speck is connected to all these other strands, all these other specks. We are all one. And here you are, listening to my voice. And as you hear my voice, there is love. There is stillness. There is peace. And if your mind starts to race off to something else, just be kind, gently bring it back here to that heart open stillness. And in this stillness, right here in this moment, all is well in the silence. Let's be here in that silence for just a few minutes. Be here now. As we start to come back to this time and space, I invite you to take a deep breath and breathe. Just continue to be here for a couple of seconds with me before there's new worries rushing in. Now, being still is a practice. It's a muscle. And the good news is that because it's like anything else, if you practice, you get better and better and better at it. As we come back into this room, and as I open my eyes and be with you, I'm reminded of the power of meditation and the gift that it's been in my life. When I get resigned and cynical and scared, I can always come right back to the stillness.
There is peace, there is quiet, when we touch the stillness. One heart at a time. You know we lift each other up. One heart at a time. We lift each other up. Oh, yes we do. One heart at a time, we lift each other up. Oh yeah, I'm talking about one heart at a time. Come on, we lift each other up. One day, here we go, here we go. One day at a time, we lift each other up. Can you feel it this morning? One day, it's one day at a time, we lift each other up. Let's take one step at a time. One step at a time, we lift each other up. Woo-hoo. I'm talking about one step at a time. Oh yes, we lift each other up. Now listen to this. I sit up and into the dream of how we really want to live. Oh, let's go up and into the world of our own creation. Come on, lift each other up. One vision at a time, we lift each other up. That's right, I know it. It's true, it's true. One vision at a time, we're gonna lift each other up. Well, one thought, one thought at a time, we're gonna lift each other up. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It takes one thought at a time, we lift each other up. Here we go, one heart at a time. I said one heart at a time, we lift each other up. Feels mighty good, doesn't it? I said one heart at a time, oh, we lift each other up. Now we're going to say one. Here we go. Oh, I said one. That's right. Now we're going to do it 2 times. One. You know what's next? 3 times. Everybody. One. 4 times. One. All right.
I don't care where you're sitting today. That was fun. I invite you to join me as we hold our gifts to this community in our hands and love in our hearts. And let's affirm together, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is. While we sing, we let it be. I invite you to go online, give via PayPal, or write a check and send it to Unity of Lawrence at 900 Madeline Lane, Lawrence, Kansas, 66049. Thank you.
We let the love wash over us. We let it be. We let the peace wash over us. Know that we let it be. We let the joy wash over us. We let it be. We let the peace wash over us. We let it be. We let the love wash over us. We let it be.
Dear sweet Spirit, we give thanks for the many gifts that are coming. And we know ourselves to be the givers and the receivers, and we are so blessed. As Polly said, church is the people. And we are those people shining our light and letting our love show through to this place, to this congregation, to this now time of allness that we are. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. Amen.
Thank you, Karen. I'd like to invite our board vice president, Kathy Pryor, forward for an announcement.
Good morning, everyone. It is wonderful to be here. I needed this service very much, so thank you, my friend Kelly and sibling Jay. When I get depressed, what I need to do is be of service. That's the first thing that helps me is get out of it, is be of service. We have a wonderful opportunity in this community to be of service. There are a lot of people out there looking for a community spiritual home. Whether it's online or in person, we can be that for you. If you are interested in getting to know our spiritual community better, please let us know. Put a note up on Facebook, get a hold of me at kpryor@ku.edu, and let us know. There are lots of people out there, and this is a perfect opportunity, whether you're a member of the congregation or not, to help us find a way to bring the spiritual life to other people. So please don't hesitate. We're so happy to have online today. We hope we have a lot of listeners and a lot of people watching. So please leave us a note. It's an opportunity for us to grow spiritually all together. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kathy. For our March Community Outreach Project, we are collecting much-needed items for the Lawrence Humane Society. There's a list of the requested items in the foyer, and we can put that up on Facebook as well. Donations will be picked up the last Sunday of March. You can come on by and drop off your donations during office hours at the church. Reiki healing is canceled for today. It will not be held this month. Join us next week as Reverend Stephanie Barton speaks on living the life of abundance. Special music will be provided by Sugarfoot Detour. And now I invite you to sing with us the peace song.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be with God as Creator. United all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every breath I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
And as we lower our hands, let's repeat together with all of our soul and all of our might our prayer of protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Thank you for joining us this morning.